really society, we have found, has lost that connection with the animals. And going back over the 16 years and the journey that we have made, we feel because we didn't have any idea of what we were doing, we were literally empty vessels. There was nothing, no knowledge of horses in any shape, form or manner. We'd never ridden, we had nothing to do with horses. Joe had a granddad that had a horse, but that wasn't knowing what to do. And here we were, where we decided, yes, we're going to try and help in whatever way we can. And we had 11 horses that were dragged out of a horror situation.
Oh, terrible place, yeah.
I mean, you've said so many times it was hell.
I never seen anything like it. I remember there was news reporter there, and he was interviewing different ones, you know, and he asked me would I speak, you know, and I had to say, it just turned my stomach. I never in all my life seen anything like that place. It was hell, you know.
And this was 200 horses that were left in fields that were miles from anywhere and starved to death. Yeah. And they were walking on top of the carcasses of one another. That's the only way we can describe it. And they were brought to us, and it was a few days after they arrived with us that we realized that they had this horrendous equine disease called strangles. Yeah. And this disease, literally, they swell up from the inside of their throats, and it chokes them to death.
If it goes in the way, that's why it's called strangles. It'll strangle them, but hopefully most of the time it comes out, and they take an abscess just under their chins or in the throat, and it drains off then. But it's very it's contagious, like, you know.
It's horrible. So most of them, we were isolated because of it, and most of these horses were expected to die. That was it. They had it. That was it. Foot and mouth, pretty much, something along the lines. We were totally and absolutely isolated. We had to go into this place with a white zip-up suit on us. And what was excreted from these animals was like green gunge, and you were just covered in. And I mean, I know people will say, "Oh my God, that's disgusting," but this is where the lesson began, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Where
thrown in at the deep end.
You're thrown in the deep end, and you don't see the horrible. You just see their eyes, and they're pleading for help, and you get to a point where you just stand and you look at them and you think, you're not going to die.
There is nothing. You can't give them any medication for it. You can't give them antibiotics, because they'll recover from it. And I've seen it happening. There was a couple that we had to inject, and we had to give them antibiotics. And about a fortnight later, it reoccurred, and this time it comes back worse.
With aggression.
And what they actually call it then is bastard strangles.
That's the name of it.
That's the name of it. That's what, and it will go in. It will go in the ways then, usually, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we did have one pony that happened to, but it actually, she recovered from it, and she was in foal and all, and she had a foal. We actually called the foal miracle, because it was a miracle, you know.
That she had the foal. Anyway, what I want to say here is that in being in the middle of that level of anxiety and worry and stress, all of a sudden this inner peace comes over you, and this feeling that you're in control, or if you're not in control, that they are in control. Those animals are in control. And when you're going down there and you're trying to do what you're trying to do for them, you suddenly realize that it isn't about human beings. It isn't about any of us. It isn't about what we think or what we feel or what we do. It is about what they want us to listen to. They want us to stop in the moment of silence, which you can only do it in that moment of silence, and you have to surrender everything that you have. You surrender it to them and allow their energy and their spirit to embrace you. And only then do you get that inner confidence that you know that there is a massive spiritual energy at work, isn't it?
Yeah. But you just know, you can feel it, and you just know that they're going to be okay. You know, they just, you just know that they tell you we're going to be okay now.
Yeah.
Because we're here, you know.
Yeah.
And we're getting what we need.
Yeah.
And we're going to be okay.
We're safe.
And you just go there. That's great, you know.
And then something
fine.
else happens. Something incredible happens. Where when you feel their peace and you feel their injection of energy that they're fighting for life, then you also embrace or feel that energy in your heart. So it actually has the power to get into your heart and soul and make you understand that if they can fight out of that grime and horror and misery, then so can you. So can you. Mm-hmm. And if you just link into them or listen, and the only way that you can listen to them is to stop. Stop thinking, stop feeling, stop everything that you're doing, and just enter into that moment of deep silence. And you will hear that voice that will speak to your heart. Yeah. And it will tell you that if we can do this, you can do it. And
I was going to say, you have to experience it to understand it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You can't. That's the way of it. You have to experience it to understand it. To just know, to get that feeling. To just, it can't be explained.
Yeah. It's like if you don't have the energy to heal, and we find this with a lot of whenever we pass that point of humans being sent to us to and we strongly believe that the powers that be sent these people to us who had special needs and difficulties and addictions and depression, severe depression. Those people came to us in a place in their lives where they didn't care enough about themselves to even think about healing. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
They did that love of themselves wasn't there. It was missing. And because they didn't love themselves, they don't respect themselves. So they don't see the harm that they're doing to themselves through allowing themselves to succumb to these addictions, to alcohol and to drugs, and they don't see that they're hurting and harming themselves. But when they see or come face to face with an animal that is hurting and is ill and is very, very, I suppose, at the end of their own tether, and they pass that point of not caring about themselves and really unconditionally caring about that animal in front of them, then and only then will they begin to heal. And sometimes it's weeks before they realize, I feel better. I feel better because you feel better. This animal in front of them is improving. They feel good about themselves because the animal is improving. And they then can turn around and say, well, hang on a wee minute. I feel better. I feel like I've done something. Is that right?
Yeah. There's that there.
It's a powerful healing. And for us as facilitators for these people and these animals coming together, we honestly have to say it was such a humbling honor to be part of that incredible healing process that was just a balance of animal and human coming together. And out of that balance came love, joy, happiness.
But we too, they're learning, how to come back from that bad place where they've been, because they can see, they realize that this animal, a horse or whatever it may be, has been in an awful bad place and has experienced, pain and suffering, and they realize then, well, this animal knows exactly how I feel,
It's an empathy.
And if they can do it, well, so can I, And we're standing back, and you can see this unfolding in front of you, and you just go, this is just it's on some of the time unbelievable,
We're not in control.
You just think, this is what it's all about, But most certainly we can learn from the animals. Yes.
Oh,
they are our teachers.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
to be that bridge.
We must get back. We must reconnect. Mankind, humanity must reconnect with nature, with Mother Nature. That they just have to, or they're just going to destroy themselves.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
You can't learn about ego. You can't understand ego. I remember people used to be talking and they talk about ego, and you think, what are they talking about? What? Is ego, and it's only when you see that it's not ego, it's self-indulgence and self-worth and self-pity and self, like we said to you earlier on tonight. I mean, we were absorbed in self-pity because things are just not right at the moment here, and we're experiencing some negativity, and we sort of got caught up in a bit of self-pity, was it?
I suppose you'd call it that, yeah.
Until a little donkey came along and decided to tell us different. In other words, this is not about you. It's not about your life. It's not about what you want. It's not about what you plan. It's not about what you think is best. You have to stop and listen to spirit. And the spirit of the animals, they are the most connected. They are the most intuitive, in tune. We have to listen to the animals, don't we?
Yeah.
If we don't, we're lost.
I think if someone's having a go at you, I think the best thing is just to look at them, say nothing, and just walk away. Because most of the time they just want you to get into it with them, But there's no point. There's no point in that,
Anger doesn't get you anywhere.
Not at all, no.
And as I said earlier, Sheen, animals don't know the word no. It is not in the animal vocabulary. And whatever vocabulary you want to say that animals have, it is not in it. No is not there. And we have to take that lesson from them and learn that unconditional means that there is no such thing as no. We have to learn that no matter what we are doing, what we have, what we're at, what we think, we just have to listen and learn, because we're not in a position to say. They know better. And we have so much to learn from them.
That's the way of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.